Should I have just kept your love? Yes, I understand. We done had some good times. On the other hand, kept me crying all night. It was too much for my mind. So even though I left you, I can't forget.
Join the Cathedral Praise Church of Memphis Incorporated each Sunday at 12:30 p.m. for our Spirit-Filled worship service and each Wednesday at 6:30 p.m. for our Bible study. You do not want to miss these power-packed services. We are a church for all people, and we welcome you as we transform the Memphis culture. The church is located inside Bunn Presbyterian Church at 561 South Prescott Street, Memphis, Tennessee. I'm Dr. Darnell Goose Jr., Senior Pastor of the Cathedral Praise Church of Memphis Incorporated, and I hope to see you there.
Go get tested for HIV/AIDS because HIV/AIDS has become the third leading cause of death among African Americans between the ages of 25 and 34. Even more surprising is the fact that this disease has become the leading cause of death for African American women between the ages of 25 and 34. The spread of HIV/AIDS is the single greatest health crisis currently confronting African Americans.
This is the city. This is their story. Some names have been changed, and so many lives have been changed too. They're going to give you the facts, just the facts. Some call this a city of crime. When they're done, it's going to be the city that cares a lot. This is the city, Memphis, Tennessee, where fearless, inspired, unfired, hungry rabble of revolutionaries has transformed hearts and minds. Not with weapons, but with their own brand of compassion, integrity, and hard work. All they're asking is for you to join their movement. It's easy to join with a donation of $20, $50, or $100. And it's all for the nonprofit organization Relationships Unleashed. With this donation, you will help enhance the three core principles of education, empowerment, and enrichment to the LGBTQ community and its allies. Go to www.relationshipunleashed.com on the World Wide Web, relationshipunleashed.com. All donations are tax deductible. Come on, join the movement. By the way, I don't need a badge or a gun. I carry a microphone, bub.
June 27th is National HIV Testing Day. Nearly 1 in 7 people with HIV in the United States can't get the help they need because they don't even know they're infected. Testing is the critical gateway to HIV prevention and care. If you test positive, you can start getting treatment to improve your health. Visit cdc.gov/HIV treatment works.
Let's talk about sex, baby.
In Memphis, condoms are free from Planned Parenthood and their friends all over town.
Nothing sexier than free. So check out freecondomsmemphis.org and get some.
Let's talk about sex. Let's talk about sex.
Want to talk about sex? Talk about condoms at freecondomsmemphis.org. Get some before you get some. freecondomsmemphis.org.
Let's talk about sex, baby.
Dear HIV,
I may have gotten you,
but you will never, ever get the best of me.
I take charge of my health.
I take my HIV meds every day.
I don't just live with you. I live well with you.
HIV treatment works.
Get in care.
Stay in care.
Live well.
Choices is a nonprofit sexual health clinic in Midtown Memphis. We accept TennCare and offer patient assistance to help pay for needed services. Choices is proud to provide comprehensive reproductive health services in an LGBTQ-affirming environment. We offer a wide range of services, such as general wellness, fertility assistance, STI testing and treatment, reproductive health services for people living with HIV, including PrEP and PEP, birth control, Gardasil vaccinations, abortion services, miscarriage management, and services for trans and gender nonconforming people, including hormone replacement therapy. Everybody needs choices.
And we're back. This is the Unleashed Voice Radio Show, and this is Gwen GQ Clemens. And I'm broadcasting live in Memphis, Tennessee with my son, David Skeeter Clement. And we're on KWAM 990 and FM 107.9, The Voice, right here in Memphis, Tennessee. And if you're just tuning in with us, we are talking about the trending topic of this week, church hurt. And we're talking about the Leandra Johnson experience and her approach, and people also, we're listening to what you said and how you feel, and we just want to share and give a well-rounded discussion on the issue of church hurt. So before we left, David, we were talking about, you talked about, we had a caller coming in. Is the caller still there? Okay, we'll go ahead and take this caller. Hello, caller, you're live on the Unleashed Voice radio show. Who is this?
Yeah, this is James, and how are you good people today?
Hey, how are you, James?
Hey, we on top of the ground, as my grandmama used to say.
Absolutely.
We have no excuses. You know what? I was listening to you talking about the government in Nashville. I'm against that. I already voted no to that, but I always thought that the government, these politicians in Memphis, make entirely too much money for having so many poor people. And look what we get for these people that's serving in these political offices. Don't you know a judge makes over $100,000 a year. He's automatically there for 8 years. It's almost $1 million. And once he's retired, he gets all his retirement benefits, the same as the mayor. I don't think none of these people deserve, but I think it's for the people in this city to see that, because there's just too many poor people here. And look what we get for what we're paying for. So I'm against Nashville giving us instructions, but I believe we should rile up and get angry at these people making so much money for having so many poor people, especially in this educational thing. We got all these administrative people spending over almost $1 billion a year, and look what we get through that. So I'm against all these high-paid, I call them government pimps, and once they get through serving, so-called serving, they get retirement pay too. And I want to say one thing about this health thing. You know, you speak about AIDS, but over 75% of black men, I was watching this thing on Channel 10 where it said over 75% of black men will get high blood pressure, hypertension before the age of 55. And half of them won't even know that they got it, and that will include having kidney problems. Memphis is so much high in dialysis. I mean, it's just ridiculous how many sick people walking around here, even though we got all this crime, but we got a self-inflicted thing with this health thing, with this processed food. And I encourage you, if you open a can...
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I think we might attribute it to the food. But, hey, we appreciate you for calling in. We want to go ahead and get back on our topic before we run out of time. We appreciate you so much. Thank you so much. Okay, James?
Thank you.
All right. Okay, so we're back, and so we're talking about church hurt. And the things that go on in the church. So as you hear a lot from the LGBTQ community talk about being banished and admonished in the church, and when they have one of these fire and brimstone services, and sometimes how they feel that the sermon is particularly targeted to them. In particular, because the pastor know or assume about your sexuality based on maybe how you look or how you dress or how you walk or how you talk. And a lot of people have turned away from the church, and they swore off the church and never to go back. And they wanted to, one of the questions that people in the argument is, do you blame the church or do you blame the people in the church?
Well, I'm gonna defend. Now I'm gonna jump on the church side.
Okay.
People in the church do not always know what you need.
Okay.
So you can't expect the pastor to know exactly what you need. So I discovered that later on from life experience and just growing up in wisdom, that once I went back and told them what I needed, then once you tell the people what you need, if they ignore or neglect you, then it's an issue. But you cannot assume just because you're in their presence, they know exactly what you need.
Okay. We have another call?
Yeah, he hung up.
Okay, great. Good job.
Oh,
okay. All right, thank you.
Duh. and then also, believe it or not, you have to remember, people who are working in the church, sometimes and many times it's new for people, many people. And for instance, I know mistakes that we've made starting the church for the last 6 years. It'll be 6 years in August the 12th. We were new when we started.
Right.
So you cannot expect us, once again, to know exactly what you need. We were new. We were new at this. And so you have to, everybody has to be patient with everybody. Everybody has to work with everybody. And there's no such thing as a church without wounds. Every church has wounds. And so it's important that we try to work through these wounds, talk to each other, communicate. And it's urgent because in the times now where Blimp Man is floating around in London with those 200,000 people marching, you're going to need some church and some type of spirituality to help you to deal with the toils and the things that's going on in America today.
So do you what is your position as far as Leandra being a pastor of a church and going on her social media rant and the things that she said and the language that she used? What is your position on that?
I mean, like I said, I can't tell her how to. Okay, just because she becomes a pastor, she's not get a cape.
What Matthew said that he said the things that your pastor won't say on Sundays.
Well, you know, I plead the Fifth Amendment on that. But as far as her, you cannot tell her how to deal. Her pain does not go away just because she's a pastor.
And her pain does not go away just because she's famous all of a sudden.
Absolutely.
No, she won Sunday best.
Right.
And if you know her story, you'll know that she was homeless at one time.
Mm-hmm.
She was basically like broke and I mean she was down out trotting on her luck. And she won Sunday best. And that kind of propelled her back from the money and the record deals and she's an awesome singer. I love her to death. And that she's able now to be back in the spotlight. But one of the repercussions from her speaking out, because she said that was her First Amendment right, which it is, she lost her endorsement to appear in the in Essence in New Orleans. They withdrew their invitation, so she did not sing at the Essence Festival this year.
Now, you know, everything you do has a consequence.
It does.
And so you have to be aware of that. So that's why I say many of us, I'm going to say us because black people, I've been dealing with black people for a minute. We need some professional help to deal with the trauma that we have experienced.
Well, see, I don't like the fact that they want to minimize what she said. Because I'm looking at an article now. They say that she had some misguided passion. And I will not let them minimize me if I take a position. If I take a position, and I think maybe more so that, you know, she did come back and apologize.
She did.
But I think she was under the influence of alcohol because I saw that she was in the car and somebody was driving. And I couldn't figure out why her friend wouldn't, you know, get her to try to do this in a better way.
Well, you cannot control grown people.
Well, yeah, but that's why you have friends.
I understand that. But when you're in the heat of the moment and you're angry and you're in the thicket of the fight, you don't want to hear anything from anybody. And so I can understand. But like I said, everything has repercussions. But my thing is this. The church needs people to survive.
Yes.
The church cannot survive without people being present.
Right.
And so, you know, it's important to work with the church. It's important for the church to work with the people. This thing is new because now I think it's different from back in the day. We're in a different movement where politics are on the forefront of the church. We're dealing with Pokemon in office. We're dealing with the other issues we have. It's a lot going on in church. It's just not God pick me up, turn me around, set my feet on solid ground. It's not that every Sunday. You're dealing with these issues every Sunday at church. And so it's important for everyone to work together. And so, you know, everybody has experienced some type of hurt in their lives. And so it's just important for us to work together and just work through this piece.
What I really, really thought was very interesting was that she talked about the hypocrisy of churches.
It's a lot of hypocrisy.
And that it was laced with hypocrisy. Mm-hmm. And that she talked about that the Christian culture is hypocritical. And, you know, and I just think that, I think she has a point. And I think that it has gotten away, you know, from, it's more eclectic and eccentric, and it's all about theatrics. And, you know, I think it has gotten away. And it is a turnoff to a point when you see this and you go to a church or you visit into a church and you see all these things go on and how some churches treat you. I'm not going to say all churches, but, you know,